Let's start with talking about the different bits and pieces that come together to complete an Android app. The first of which is what we'll be focusing on in this module and the next. We'll add some activities to our application to represent each of the major interactable pieces. These will represent the different pages we received from Wikipedia, or most of them anyway. They wire up our UI logic and manipulate views and data while interfacing with other services. This is where the magic happens. We'll then build out the interfaces for each of these activities using the latest views and components available to us. These are our actual interface elements, our cards, toolbars, layouts, text views, images, inputs, etc. The last bit to mix in are Android fragments. These are somewhere in between activities and views, and we'll dive much deeper into them in the next module. Together, these make up the Android application interface, one of the three major pieces that complete an app. The next of the three major pieces of an Android app is the guts, or the behind-the-scenes bits that aren't necessarily apparent to our users. The first of the important pieces of the guts is remote data. This is where our data comes from that isn't stored right away on the device, including web APIs, integrations with third-party data providers, push notifications, WebSocket connections, or any other source of data outside the app. The second component of our Android app's guts is local data. Local data is what we store locally on the device, such as pre-existing data files, local databases to store information we receive from remote data sources, and locally created and stored files. The last bit is the business logic. This is what ties all of it together. This is how we map remote data to local data, handle what should happen after an action from the user, update views with data from either remote or local sources, and direct traffic based on events. The third of the three categories is the extras, or the pieces of the app that aren't necessarily required. Hardware integrations are, well, integrations with hardware components on the device, such as the camera, gyroscope, GPS, speakers, and microphones. These integrations often connect back through the guts of the app down to the interface to show or use the data collected from these hardware components. Background services are different ways that our app can still process data in the background. These services can include syncing data in the background, handling notifications, maintaining a connection to the camera or microphone, or communicating through other applications. The last piece of these extras are Android widgets and more. Widgets are a rather unique feature to Android and allow for an application to have a small interface or feature directly built into the app via the homepage, settings, or other area depending on the Android version. This is where extra features such as communication to Google Chromecast, Android wearables, and Android TV would exist if your application intends on working with any of these. These three categories, the interface, the guts, and the extras, work together to complete a running Android mobile application. When these come together, we can create something that is beautiful, feature-rich, and fun to use.